Good morning, one-of-a-kind friends. I hope you're having a wonderful time during the craft along. I was just watching Tanya for a couple of minutes, and well, I watched her longer than that because her projects are always gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm going to check in here to make sure that I'm live. I'm going to look at my device to make sure that all is going good. Give you a minute to get set up because I was just I'm totally blown away by how beautiful Tanya's project was. I love that mushroom she made, and I know her projects are always just incredible. Thank you for letting me be part of the one-of-a-kind family today. I'm super excited about that, and I can see that we're live, so that's going to help a lot to make sure that I can stay on track with what we're doing. I wanted to make a couple of announcements first. Anything you order today at KennethOliverCrafts.com, I'm going to throw in an extra gift for you just because I love you. It'll probably be valued at over $10. Might even be a couple of things. So I'm excited about that. Hey, Brian. Hey, Penny. Hey, Pam. Thank you so much for letting me be part of the craft along today. I am happy, happy, happy about that. And you can see I'm not in my normal studio today. I'm in my kitchen, and I've got a wall of plants behind me. I'm a plant person too, and my plants on this plant wall are incredible. I'm just going to turn my camera up a little bit so you can see when I started that a year ago, they were all tiny, tiny, tiny little cuttings. So they've grown really, really well. Today, the project that we're making during the craft along are Victorian inspired gift tags. And in your kit, you had enough to make 4 tags. We're going to do our best today to get through those. But if you don't get them all made today, during the class time, that is A-OK too. So, hey, Linda Oliver, I see my mom's on here too. Hey, Karen. Thank you guys again for joining. These tags are going to be so much fun. So the kit included lots of free stuff, lots of fun stuff. It had vintage book pages, vintage ephemera. I asked before the class time if you would go ahead and do your fussy cutting so we can get that out of the way. And I went ahead and did mine. And while we're taking the class today, you might have a glue gun ready to go. And I've got mine plugged in already. And we'll be using a stencil and some blending inks and some blending brushes. So I'm going to turn my camera down and we will get started. Okay, I think that's going to give us a good view of the table. There we go, beautiful. Just look how gorgeous these tags are. And so one of the cool things about making these tags is that it utilizes a lot of vintage material, like printed stuff, ephemera. And in the Victorian times, printed materials were rather new. And so if people got anything that was printed, and it could be a catalog or a card or even a book page, they were very, very excited about that, and nothing that was printed was ever thrown away. Hence, we got scrapbooking and crazy quilts and all that kind of stuff. They like to save things and reuse them. So that's part of the genesis of what we're doing today, is using beautiful vintage ephemera pieces to create these gorgeous Victorian inspired tags. And the colors are very Victorian-esque, deep ruby, deep browns, very rich colors. And themes of nature were also very prevalent during Victorian times. So we're going to get started. The first thing we're going to do is adhere book pages to our tags. And I'm going to scoot some things over because I got everything right here ready to go. All my ephemeras right here already cut out. And I want to make sure I get that over to the side. So we're going to start by affixing vintage book pages to these tags. And these vintage book pages are actually from a vintage arithmetic book that has been in my collection of vintage ephemera for a long time. And check this out. helping mother bake cookies. So a lot of the kits that I sent out had really interesting photographs and illustrations on them, and I tried to like include as many of those as I could. And these textbooks from the teens and 20s and 30s made their way into my collection of ephemera because I had some great aunts and uncles who were school teachers, and their the books somehow ended up in my stash of goodies. So we're going to use some matte gel medium to affix these book pages to our tags. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of that matte gel medium out of the jar and place that, just brush that onto this tag. So the cool thing is, matte gel medium is kind of like the glue that holds mixed media together. You might have used this before on art journaling or collaging or card projects. Very, very cool because it's almost like glue. And we'll lay down this book page here, and we're going to press that to get a really good adhesion. And I'll just lift that up. See, that's already on there. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other three right now. And if you don't get to all of these during the class hour, it's okay. Because this is the kind of thing you can go back and do at your own pace. Now, once again, anything that you order today, when you order at KenOliverCrafts.com, I'm going to include a free gift that will be at least a $10 value. It'll probably have a stencil in it, and who knows what other little goodies I find to put in there. We're going to put these little kiddos on here. And I'm going to work pretty quickly today. I know we have an hour, but at the same time, like I always do projects that are kind of over ambitious, and I want to make sure that we get done. Okay, so we've got that beautiful matte gel medium. The other cool thing about this matte gel medium, whenever it dries, like it's a matte finish, so you can't really tell that there's anything on it, and it looks really nice. Dollars and cents. I think I'm going to put that on the top of my page. There's something that says dollars and cents, so I'm going to put that on my. And this is kind of outside the box of normal cards that I would make. I wanted to like introduce you to something different and like kind of have a different experience today. This matte gel medium just flows on so smoothly. If you've never tried it before, put some in your cart. You're gonna love this. And then I've got a cool one here that's got a picture of a little elf on it, so I'm going to put that on my paper too. So it looks like everything's going well on the camera. I don't see anybody saying they're not like anything's going on. So good. Let me know where you're watching from. I always love to see like where you're watching from. It's amazing to me every time I send out orders to see where they go. And I'm gonna, like, for a second, I'm gonna go throw my brush in a thing of water. Haha. Now what's gonna be really cool with this is we're gonna trim these tags up, and it's gonna be super easy. You could let this dry if you want to, and just tear this paper off. A lot of times folks do that because this vintage pages rip really easily. I want a little bit of a neater edge on that, so I'm just going to trim mine out with scissors. And since we've got that straight edge, it comes off real easily. There's one done. how's your Saturday going? Are you enjoying the craft along today? Like, I know Tanya's project was just beautiful, and Karen Burnison is next, and I love Karen Burnison. Her dies are incredible. I've been a fan for as long as she's been around. See the really nice kind of vintagey feel these have with these book pages underneath. And the next thing we're going to do is really cool. We're going to take a stencil and some ink and actually put a layer of ink over this vintage book page. And that just gives us another layer of depth and another layer on top of like this beautiful vintage ephemera. Sorry, I wasn't holding it very close so you could see what I was doing, but I'm just cutting that excess paper off. Easy peasy. And you could, like I said, you could wait till it's dry and tear it off. I like a little bit of a cleaner edge on this for this particular project. Now, I'm going to take all my little scraps because I don't want to throw those away. We could use those later on something maybe. You know, and when I designed these tags, I realized like that we're getting into August, and August is right next door to September, and September is fall, and so these do look kind of fall-like. That was part of my intention. If you'll notice, they have like all those beautiful reds and the birds, and what this, like this one, they remind me of apple picking time. They really do. It looks like we go to the orchard and pick apples today. So now let's add a little bit of color and texture on top of this using 6x6 stencil that came with your kit. It's a buffalo plaid square. And that came with your kit. And I've got mine already out. I've got some blending brushes here and some ink ready. And we're just gonna like blend right on top of this. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to make sure that mine is squared to the edge so that we get a nice plaid look on there. If you want to add a second color, I'm using red and some green today. You could use whatever colors you like. I've got extra colors here. I might like add a little bit of extra color on this. I think I've got some beautiful violet. Grab some violet and kind of do the edges so we get a little bit of a darker edge around the edge of the tag. And just look how pretty that is. Isn't that nice? Is it going to be a beautiful tag? And we'll do the same thing on this one. We're going to use a little bit of that crimson ink, and you can use any colors you like. And you don't have to do it real heavy. I like on this, since we've got that texture underneath, I like a little bit of a light color. I don't want it to be super dark. And just blend in a little bit of violet to give it some depth. Beautiful. I like the play of that plaid on top of the vintage book pages. Now we're going to switch it up, and I'm going to use a little bit of green. And I'm not going to rinse my stencil in between or anything. That extra color will just give us a little more depth to it. You could just do the edges if you want your center to be a little more that looks good. But I'm going to put my stencil back on there, and I'm going to grab a little turquoise, Sorry, I know my table's shaking because of my vigorous ink technique. I'm vigorously blending. Pretty. That's going to make a gorgeous backdrop for this beautiful vintage ephemera. And I like how it's got a little bit of a lime green and a little bit of turquoise in it. It just gives it some extra depth. It's really a pretty way to do that. Oh, I lost my stencil and it was literally in my hand. Does anybody do that? That is like, I do stuff like that all the time. I'll be looking for my phone, talking to somebody, and then realize the reason I can't find my phone is because it's in my hand. Who's done that? I know you guys have done that. Somebody's done that. And I did not tape these down, the stencils, because I knew we'd be working fast. So it's not like a huge thing, and I'm not gonna probably get it off kilter as I'm blending here because I'm holding it down with my fingers the whole time. Ooh, look how pretty. Aren't those gorgeous? I think that, now at first I thought I loved the red and the violet together, but now when I see this turquoise and this green, those are really nice too. So let's see. I'm a little bit off on my positioning here. Here we go. Aren't those pretty? You know, just for sake of doing it, I'm going to hit this real quick with the heat tool, just to make sure that my ink is set and my mixed media gel is drying. See a couple places that I didn't trim well, so I'm going to trim those up. Now comes the fun part. We can actually start designing how we want our tags to look. And when I'm doing this, I like to take my collage pieces and arrange them on a tag until I get a design that I'm like really happy with. And I'm going to start here with this. And there are lots of really nice icons in the ephemera pages to cut out. And I think what I am going to do though is turn it around so I can see it right side up to me. I have a piece here that's got a tiny bit of ribbon going across it. I'm going to cut that out, and that's going to be a collage piece. And I want to use a bird. Maybe on this nest would be beautiful. That is really nice. So we'll use that. And that is a pretty big collage piece, so I think that will be fine to stand on its own. I even cut out the little rails that were on the collage piece, little bitty, like just rails, and I'm gonna work those into this too, just to give it some extra layers and dimension. So I am gonna put my collage pieces on with foam squares. I love doing tag projects like this that have like some real ephemera on them. You know, this is like the real deal antique book pages and vintage inspired ephemera. It just is so pretty and has such a different vibe than, you know, it's got that antique looking vibe, and I like that. Okay, now we got all those. How cute that is. Isn't that nice? That one doesn't even have a bird on it. And you know, just while we're here, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my crocodile and punch a hole in the top of this, just so that's done. So I'll have a place later to put my twine when that's ready. And I've got all this vintage trim to go on these two and some vintage buttons. We're gonna do that at the end. So we'll put this one to the side and we'll do another one. I'm gonna do a green one again. And I even cut out like the little greenery, you know, like the tree limbs. So, you know, I can really see using every bit of this. Whenever the Victorian woman got these, you know, printed pieces, she was quite happy with them and she didn't want to waste a single bit of it. I cut out all of the eggs, so we have those eggs, and they're quite beautiful too. And I'm just arranging these how I think they look pretty. Yours will be, you know, very different, and that is A-OK. And this is where you can use your own aesthetic to create the collages that you want to create. I know it's probably not the most exciting thing watching me put on foam squares, but that's where we are. I'm going to put that like so and like so. And put some of my egg here. I always use a lot of foam squares. I like the dimensionality that it gives. It actually makes you have like some shadows in your work and some extra lines that the light does for you. You can see how that has a little bit of shadow behind it. That's actually working on your atmosphere to actually do part of the work for you, because like the light makes a shadow that looks like, to your eye, it looks like a line. Oh, I love how this looks on this green background. That's really sharp. And again, perfect for this time of year. And even though this is green, it does have like that kind of like, I guess it's almost like a harvest or a fall-like feel to it. Beautiful. And don't forget, when you order today, if you order today, I'm going to send you a free gift that will be at least a $10 value. I'm going to have a little bit something more on this. Oh, there's the word extra. I'll just cut out the word extra because I wanted something extra on here. And we'll just put extra right up here at the top. And I'm going to grab some more gel medium. And I've already put my brush over to be clean. So I'm using my finger. And that's going to help me because I was looking for something to add some of these rails onto another piece. So I'm just going to take my finger and rub some of this across, and then we'll put one of those rails on here, and I can snip that off and trim that. So I knew this class would be fun for anybody who likes to get their fingers inky. Oh, and that really just adds something to that. We can do the same thing here, just put that same little rail. I'm just using my finger to apply the mixed media gel, the matte gel medium, and we'll just lay that rail right in there. Looks like we've got a little border there, and that really just adds something to it. And I've got another little piece here. I'll come back and put some matte gel medium on. And we'll lay that across the bottom here. And that just adds an extra bit of like pizzazz to it. You can just see it like just defines the space a little bit. So we are rolling right along. I'm super happy about this project and about the progress that we're making. And I hope that you are too. I hope that you're enjoying it. And by the way, if you didn't get a kit, I still have kits available, so you can order them and watch this video later and create your tags. Now, I have a bird here that's kind of got some red and some violet in it, and we're going to put it on here with this little girl. You know, collage is one of my favorite ways to create. Basically, you can, and we all do this in our art journals, it's just, you know, take the pieces that you have and create with those, cut them out. And I'm kind of just designing on the fly here. It's a fun way to do it. Got some of these rails again, we'll use some of that. And I want to work some of these little words, and this is the Rouge Gorge, and I'm assuming that means the red bird or red something Gorge, whatever a Gorge is. I have no clue right now. And you know, if you didn't want to use foam squares on these, you could use gel medium to make it would be just flat. And I'm gonna like put some gel medium on this piece and make it flat against my tag. And I've got one of those borders here. We'll do the same thing. And you know, whenever you're done today, if you want to, I would love it if you'd share a picture of your printed or of your finished tags with me. I would love to see them. That's pretty. Let's see, I'm going to use some foam squares to put my bird on there. So I grabbed a paper towel there so I could clean up. I do hope you're enjoying this project. It is a lot of fun for me to make collage tags. La Rouge Gorge. You know, I'm going to have to look that up later, unless somebody knows French and can say right away what that is. I think it means the red bird, but I do not know. I've got an egg here that I think would be pretty on this, right above there. And we'll put that on with some foam squares so it pops up too. I mean, who wouldn't love getting this tag on a gift? And it looks so perfect for fall to me, because it's got the birds and branches. And you can just build these as many ways as you like, you know, just as your creativity suits you. Just, I'm adding on another little piece of border right here. It's going to look really nice up against the piece that we already have. Take my crocodile and punch a hole in this. Now, you know, like before I tie these to a package, I am probably going to add some paper on the back, you know, like either a piece of cardstock or a piece of black cardstock, just to kind of finish them off. And or I might put another book page on there. That can kind of be up to you how you do it. If a lot of times if I put a black paper on the back, I'll write in white pen, you know, so you can like see that, or you can write in silver or gold pen, just depending on, you know, like how you like, what your style is. All right. And a book page would be pretty on the back, but I don't think if you wrote like a note on it that your recipient would be able to see, you know, see it as well if you use a book page. So we've got one more to do. I'm excited that we're making progress. I was afraid that, I wasn't afraid, but I was hoping that we'd be able to get through everything in a timely manner, because like I said, I always like am over ambitious and try to plan too many things to do. And I'm just using my finger to put on that, whoops, that beautiful mixed media gel, that matte gel medium. And that's from the Crafters Workshop. If you guys haven't tried it, you will love it. You can get it at KenOliverCrafts.com. It comes in your kit today too. So if you get the kit, you will have a jar of matte gel medium to use. And I just encountered a little dealio that I decided something to put on this little branch trailing up, but the words on there are upside down. So that's no biggie either. I'm just going to probably put a bird on it. There we go. We can put a bird right there. And that makes it look like he is, or she, I'm not sure, is kind of landing on that branch, perched, watching. I think these are just very, very elegant and, like I said, perfect for this time of year. They're just gorgeous. Okay, I forgot to talk for a second. Sorry about that. Because I was so engrossed in my collage activities. Seriously, I know you get like in the zone, and that's all you can think about is like your collage piece or your stamping piece. Isn't that pretty? So now we have some really beautiful bases to for our tags. Trim up here, trim out the corners. I'll go ahead and take my crocodile. These are just really pretty, I think. The way that they've turned out. There we go. Yeah, that looks nice. Now, it comes like the fun part of this is getting to add in all of these trims. And I don't know how I did it, but I still have a couple of birds left. And I could put a bird on this one. Let's see, let's see here. No, I think that's too much. I think that's too much. So these birds get to go and be part of another project on another day. Bye-bye, birdie. Sorry. Sometimes I just can't help myself from being weird. Okay, so now we've got these gorgeous tags ready to trim out. And I'm going to start with some of this gorgeous netted trim. It's deep net trim. It's about like, I don't know, like 1.5 inches long or wide, rather like deep. And will give us a really beautiful fringy look on here. So I'm going to like wrap on this piece. I'm going to wrap trim around the bottom. So I'm going to cut a piece that is twice the length of this, twice the length. So I cut it twice the length so I can go across the front and then fold it and make it meet in the center on the back, like that. So I'm going to put a little band of hot glue right across the bottom. I've had my glue gun warming up for half an hour, so it's nice and hot. And then we'll just lay that trim right into that hot glue and give it a press. Oops, I'm too high, too low. There we go. There, that's better. Sorry about that. And then, same thing. Line of hot glue across the back. And then just pull that over. Now we have trim that goes all the way around, but there's no seam in the front. Isn't that nice? So I think I'm going to put a piece of this lace trim across the front here. That will be really pretty. And same thing, I'm just going to put a little line of hot glue and then affix my trim. And this one I'm just going to put right across the front. I'm not going to wrap around the back. And my reason on that is I don't want to have the extra thickness of that crocheted trim all the way around the side. Isn't that pretty? No, and I think what this needs now is also a piece at the top. So I'm gonna, same thing, put a line of hot glue down. And I'm just gonna lay this on, I'm not gonna trim it. I'm gonna lay this on first. And then when I get that on there and get it stuck, then we'll go back and trim it so I can be even with the angled edges on that tag. And it is so much fun to start out a Saturday by crafting. Favorite thing to do ever. And I hope that my plants didn't hear that. I think they did. So look how pretty that is. That one looks great. Oh, now another thing we've got to do is there were some vintage buttons included in your kit. So we can go back and add on a vintage button. And that can be anywhere you want it to be. I'm going to stick it right up here. Put out a drop of hot glue. I'm going to put a little more hot glue on there because, you know what, this button has a, what's it called, a shank on it, and I don't really like that, so I'm going to do something crazy. I know that these are resin buttons, so I'm going to, I think they're resin. I'm going to see if I can cut this shank off with my scissors so this will go on a little more flat. And that worked, but my button flew away. One of the joys of live creating. But I found it. And I'm going to put that button so it'll be flat on there. And look how cute that is. Really, really nice. The last thing to do with this one is we're going to put a piece of twine through that hole that we punched in at the top. And one way that I like to do tags like this is make a loop here, feed that loop through the hole, and then feed your ends through that loop. And then that way, that gives you can actually tie this onto a present. And if you give it as a card, it's beautiful. But that would let you tie it onto something or tie it onto a gift bag. Very, very nice. You know, here's the thought too. If you were gonna use this as a gift ensemble, you know, this tag, you could actually take these extra pieces and apply them to your gift bag. So you kind of get like a whole ensemble thing going. You could, if you had a craft gift bag, you could stencil that gift bag with that buffalo check stencil and get like a really nice, cool vintage vibe going on. Okay, so tag number 1 done. It's so pretty. Like I don't want to just look at it a little bit because it is very, very pretty. I think that violet ink really sets it off. Okay, next, do this one, and I'm going to show you, I want to throw some trim along this edge, like so, that it almost kind of sticks out from the side. I like how that feels. So we're going to add that trim to the back side, and I'm going to run a line of hot glue on the back side and then grab that trim Make sure we got it flat. And then lay that on the hot glue. So we get that seam in there. And when that's pressed down, we will go back and trim it out. And it's going to be beauteous. So just to show that off a little more, I'm going to grab a piece of this crocheted lace trim. And we're going to put that over the top of this, so we got actually layers of trim. So to do that, I'm going to put a little strand of glue right here on the edge of the brown trim. And I need a new glue stick. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I just squirted hot glue on my finger. That happens when you're working with hot glue. Put that up like so. And look how those are perfectly layered together. You trim it off. We'll get a good trim here. And just look how pretty that is. Oh, anybody would love getting this on a gift bag or with a gift. Now we're going to put some twine through that hole in the center, and that one will be ready to go. Pretty, pretty. That trim on the side really, really makes this feel like kind of extra fancy. Love it. On this one, we're gonna, oops, I forgot to put a button here. Oops, gotta go back and put a button. Put a button right there. That nice. Man, thank you all so much for joining me for this vintage Victorian inspired tag class today. I know it's a little bit different than what I normally do, and I hope that you're enjoying it. I hope that you enjoyed the kit, and I hope that you're inspired. Sometimes I need to do something like this that's kind of outside my box just to like get my mojo back. You know, it's always good to try something different that's outside your box to really get your creative juices flowing. I put a line of hot glue across the bottom, and we're going to put trim across the bottom here. Make sure I get it nice and straight. I'm going to flip it over and put glue across the back. And then I'll just trim that up. And then we're going to also put a piece of that pretty lace across the front just to fancy that up a little bit, because everybody needs to be fancied up a little bit. And you notice I didn't cut my trim first. I'm going to put it in place, and then we'll trim it after it gets in place there. This does have all the vintage vibe feel to me. It really does. I'm gonna put the shank of this button through the hole that's on this tag. I'm gonna line it up so that it's straight. This will become apparent in just a minute. You'll see what we're doing. I want to make sure that that crest is right side up. And then since that button has a shank on the back, I think that's what it's called. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to go ahead and thread my twine through the shank, through the thing on the button where you sew it on, and then we'll put our twine through that, and then that will actually be our where the tie-on goes. This is going to be really pretty. Except my twine doesn't want to go through the button shank. So I'm going to condense it with my scissors here. You get in there. This was a little plot twist that I didn't expect. I thought it would go in there very easily, but I gummed up my button with hot glue. So there we go. Now you get the idea that there's a beautiful button at the top of this with a really nice tie on. And I still want to get this through, but it's just not, it's not behaving. And I need my my pokey tool, but I didn't bring that to my craft table today. I can feel it, it's gonna work. We're almost there. Isn't that pretty? We've got one more to do here, and I've got 4 minutes to do it in. I think it can happen. And I think the video, they keep the videos on here as like forever. So if you, and I think they even make a little library of them. And I think they put them on YouTube. So if I move quickly today, you can go back and watch whenever you like. And I will probably also save this over to my page, Ken Oliver Crafts. I think these are just really, really pretty. And they do, they have that Victorian feel to them, which makes it really, really nice if you like that vintage look. And I'm even adjusting my trim so that I get it underneath the tail of the bird. So that's going to make the bird actually kind of pop out on top of the trim, and that looks really nice. We are almost to the end of our time together today. I really appreciate you watching my video and letting me be part of the class. It's always so much fun whenever it's one of a kind day. And again, I still have kits left, so if you've liked watching this project and would like to make these beautiful Victorian inspired tags for yourself, the kits are at kenolivercrafts.com. I'm putting in a free gift with everything that you order today. It will be at least a $10 value. Let's see, we put a button. Where do we want to put a button? We're going to put a button right there. So just look at everything we've created today. We've made 4 beautiful Victorian inspired tags that you would love to receive or to give. Look how pretty these are. And I am just thrilled with the way that these turned out. They're so, so pretty. So I'm going to turn my camera up. See how nice these are? They really, I love how these turned out. I would love to see pictures of yours because I know everybody's will all be different. They look fantastic. So thank you again for letting me join today. Thank you for taking my class and for buying the kits. There are more kits available at kenolivercrafts.com, and you get a free gift when you place an order today, $10 value. And no minimum. So like place an order and it's going to be a stencil or a stamp or something from my collection of fun things. It'll be at least a $10 value. So thank you so much. Happy crafting today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And Karen Burniston's up next, and I know that you're going to be amazed with her project as well. So thanks again. Take care, everybody. Happy crafting.